Keith.
Hello.
Welcome to your yoga practice today.
Thank you.
I'll be guiding you through these sets today. And I just want to start by saying thank you for letting me join in your practice today.
Thank you.
Taking the time for yourself. So we'll start here in a comfortable seated position for our Sukhasana, which is our meditative, mindful pose. Rolling your shoulders back, light tuck to your chin. Just noticing here where your breath is. Noticing the shift of breath and energy within your body and how that feels right now. Starting with your Ujjayi breath, which is that deep ocean breath, kind of like you're fogging up the mirror. Taking a moment to connect with your intention for your practice today. When you're ready, opening your eyes. You'll notice there are blankets and blocks here if you need them. I would suggest using a blanket just to bolster your hips up for our next pose, which is the Sufi grind. It helps to align your hips with your knees.
Thank you.
So for our Sufi grind, we'll have our hands on our knees. And on your inhale, you'll rotate forward. Exhale, rounding your spine. Very good. It's a really great spinal warm-up. One full breath cycle. It's one full circle, it's one full breath cycle. Feel a nice stretch in your lower back. When you're ready, you can change directions. Arching and flexing. Moving side to side. And when you're ready, slowly making those circles smaller and smaller until you come to stillness. Taking a breath here, maybe moving that blanket out of the way. As we move into our next pose, which is cat-cow. Yep, so onto your hands and knees. Ensuring your wrists are stacked under your shoulders, knees are stacked under your hips. Excellent. And when you're ready, we can inhale, your head comes up, tucking your belly, navel comes to the mat. Exhaling to round your spine and tucking your chin. Staying nice and strong in your trunk. Engaging your shoulders. We'll run through a few breaths here. Remembering your breath. trying out that Ujjayi breath if you'd like. Remembering if you need to take a break at any point during your practice today, feel free to do so. Move into child's pose or seated pose or whatever is comfortable for you. Excellent. Now shake it out, move around a bit. Yeah, and when we're ready, yeah, you can do a nice counter stretch here. You can even press your hands against the mat. I like to do that. Counter stretch. Yeah, shake it out. Excellent. And we'll move into child's pose.
Sure.
So separating your knees mat width apart, toes come together. Sliding your fingertips slowly to the front of the mat. And on your inhale, stretching a little bit further. Exhale, sinking deeper into your hips. Remembering that breath. Now, if it is more comfortable for you, you can place a blanket above or below your ankles or a block below your forehead. Remembering your inhales, exhales. And on your next inhale, coming up to a seated position. Relaxing the knees. Taking a breath here, maybe shaking your hands or moving your ankles around. Perfect. And we'll come on to our bellies for our baby cobra. So forehead comes to the mat, hands are just beside your shoulders, elbows are bent. Zip tying your thighs together, toes are pointed, and the tops of the feet are flat on the mat. Now on your inhale, you're going to lift your shoulders and your forehead, no weight in your hands. Zip tying those thighs together, nice and strong in the lower body. Very good. Exhaling to release. Taking your time with this pose. Yeah, you can make these as small as you'd like, whatever works for you. Inhaling up. Exhaling to release. Make sure those thighs are nice and strong. Feet are together. That helps to support your lower back. Do one more breath here. Exhale, taking a little break here if you'd like. Moving around a bit.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, great. So when you're ready, we can move into our downward dog. So placing your hands at the top of the mat, tucking your toes,
Yep.
and then lifting your hips to the sky for a nice inverted V. Pushing with your fingertips strong into the mat. Yep. Good. And then pedaling your feet. Want a nice long straight back. May I adjust you?
Yeah.
You want to push it in a little bit here. Good. As much as you can. Good. Sky. Putting pressure in your fingertips more than your wrists. And on your exhale, you can release down to the mat. And we'll come into a standing position. So we'll move into our standing forward bend here. So feet are hip width apart, like a nice micro bend in your knees. Tucking your tailbone. On your inhale, hands overhead. And on your exhale, slowly rolling down, leading with your heart. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Letting your top half of your body hang like a waterfall. You're nodding your head yes and no. Shaking slightly from side to side. Lower body is strong, upper body is loose and long. Remembering your breath. And your next inhale, rolling up to standing and slow. And we'll move into our Samasthiti, or pose of stillness. So here we are. Feet are 2 fists width apart. Hands overhead. And let them come down to your sides, rolling your shoulders back, tucking your tailbone. It's like tuck to your chin. Coming to a still pose that works for you, whether that's hands at heart center, hands overhead, hands on your hips. Strong and stable. Remembering your intention for your practice today. Awesome. So on your next inhale, we'll move into our mountain arms up pose. So keeping your feet at that 2 fists width apart. On your inhale, hands come overhead and they meet. Interlace your fingers and point your forefingers to the sky. Gaze follows. Tucking your tailbone, relaxing your shoulders away from your ears. Breathing to find length in your spine. Exhale to ground down into your feet. Yep, and if this is too much for your shoulders, you can always relax your hands at your side, whatever is comfortable for you. How's that feel?
Good, good.
Okay, so we'll move now to our standing side bends. So let's move our right hand overhead, straight up. Left hand reaches down to your knees and then bend slightly to your left side. Feeling a nice bend in your left side body. Keeping that micro bend in your knees. And you can change to the other side. And feeling a nice stretch in the opposite side body.
Mm-hmm.
Good, making this a dynamic movement from right to left. We'll do a couple more breaths here. Ensuring both side bodies are long. Nice stretch in those side bodies. Now, when you're ready, you can shake it out a little bit, and we'll move into a great pose for shaking it out, and that is willow tree.
Right.
So feet are now hip width apart, or sorry, mat width apart. And when you're ready, we'll just swing your arms from side to side, wrapping them around your side bodies. This is another great spinal warm-up. This is a great pose for if you're sitting for too long and you need a break, shaking it out. You can look over your shoulders if that feels good to you. You can bend your knees, dipping your hips, if that feels good. Remembering your breath here as we're shaking it out. When you're ready, we'll slow those circles down until we come to stillness. Awesome. Shake it out a little bit. Come to the front of our mats now. Now we'll prepare for our low lunge. So to do that, let's grab our blocks, put them on either side of our feet. They're there just if you need them. Okay, when you're ready, on your next inhale, hands overhead. Exhale down, sending your right foot back. Knee comes to the mat, tops of your right foot come to the mat. Getting a nice steady balance here. And when you feel ready, coming into your lunge, sinking into your front knee now, hands overhead. And taking a breath here. Shoulders relax away from the ears. Tailbone is tucked. Nice strong arms. Strong in that front knee and feeling a nice stretch in your right hip. Taking a nice deep breath here, remembering your Ujjayi breath. Remembering you can always take a break at any time. Good, a nice dynamic movement in your arms is great. When you're ready, you can bring your hands down to the mat or to your blocks. And on your inhale, bringing your right foot up to your left foot. Rolling up to standing. Hands come overhead. Down through heart center. And now we'll do our half split. So we're going to stay on our right foot, sending our right foot back. Again, knee comes to the mat. This time you're hinging your hips back and your left toe comes up, using those blocks if you need them for sure. Opening in your heart, looking to the front of the room, finding a nice stretch in your left knee, in your left leg. Exhaling to the front of the mat, right foot meets left. Rolling up to standing, hands overhead, down through heart center. Good. Taking a breath here to shake it out, and we'll even it out and switch to the other side. So when you're ready, sending your left foot back, knee to the mat, top of the foot to the mat. Sinking into your right knee, making sure your right knee is stacked over your right ankle. Sinking in and hands overhead. Shoulders relaxed, tailbone is tucked. Navel pulls in towards the spine. Feeling strong in your knee, in your front knee. And remembering that breath. On your next inhale, hands come to the mat. Left foot meets right, rolling up to standing. Hands come overhead, through heart center. Taking a breath here before we move into our half split. So on your exhale, sending your left foot back, knee to the mat. This time again, hinging back, right toes come up, and feeling a nice stretch in your right leg. Heart is open, clavicle is smiling, relaxing your jaw. Taking one more big breath here. And then exhale, hands come to the top of the mat. Left foot meets right, hands overhead, down through heart center. How was that? Good stretch in
It
your
was good, yes.
hips and your legs there?
Yeah.
Awesome. So next we'll move into our sun salutation.
All right.
Okay. So at the top of our mat here, shake it out. You can take another breath here if you want. Do a little bit of willow tree before we move into this dynamic movement. We'll bring our hands overhead, down through heart center. Hands come down to the mat. Step, hop, or float your feet back. And down to baby cobra. Inhale up. Exhale to release. Inhale up to downward facing dog. And on your next inhale, bring your feet up to your hands. Step, hop, or float. Hands overhead. Excellent. We'll do that one more time. So hands overhead. Exhale down to the mat. Step, float, or hop back. Down to baby cobra. Inhale up, no weight in your hands. Exhale, release. Inhale up to the downward facing dog. And step, hop, or float up to your hands. Whatever feels good to you. Excellent. Hands overhead. So this time we're going to bring in our chaturanga into our dynamic movement here with our sun salutation. So chaturanga is totally optional. It can be a challenging one, so depends how your body feels today. But we'll give it a go. Hands overhead, down through heart center, down to the mat. This time, instead of moving to baby cobra, you're going to flip your feet onto the top of your feet onto the mat and coming up, tucking your toes to downward dog. Breath. And then step, hop, or float up to the top of the mat. Excellent. Inhale, hands overhead, down through heart center. How did that feel?
It's good.
Good. Okay. So we'll take a breath here. We'll slow it down a bit and we'll move into our mountain pose. So this is a strong, stable pose. And take a nice breath here. Shaking out your hands if that feels good. And here, picking up each of your toes and putting each one down with intention. Finding a micro bend in your knees. Hips are square to the front of the room, tucking your tailbone, finding strength in all parts of your body here. Hands are at your side. You can flip your palms to the front of the room, engaging every muscle in your body. As if I were to try to push you over, you would not be easily knocked down. Okay, nice inhale. Exhaling to ground down. And powerful and strong in this pose. Engaging your core. Crown of your head is lifted. Chin is tucked ever so slightly. Spine is long and strong. And then exhale. Relaxing into your standing position. Move into our tree pose. So, shifting your weight into your left foot. Gently lifting up your right ankle and letting it rest on your left calf. Now your hands can be on your hips to start. And the bottom of your right foot can come to your calf or the inner part of your thigh, but never on your knee, never on the knee joint. You can also keep your toes on the mat. That's totally okay. Making sure your right knee is turned out. Hips are open to the square front of the room. Good, take your time. Yeah, and you get the same thing from putting your toes on the mat. So whatever feels good to you. Hands are wherever you'd like them to be, overhead, at heart center, or on your hips. Taking a breath here. And then release when you're ready. Shifting your weight into your right foot. Opening up in your left hip. Left heel rests on your right calf. Or just above or below your knee. Hands can be overhead, full tree, or a heart center. Finding a drishti here, a focal point, to help with your balance. Shoulders are relaxed away from your ears. Face is relaxed. Taking a breath here. When you're ready, releasing down to the mat. As we move into our warrior set. So we'll come to the top of your mat. You're taking a breath here, shaking it out as we prepare for these standing poses. Feet are hip width apart as if they're on train tracks. You're going to send your right foot straight back. Heel stays up, finding some balance here, so shifting around if you need to. Yeah, finding a nice balance. And sinking deep into that front knee. Hips are square to the front of the room. Now to do that, you need to shift your right hip a little bit forward, your left hip a little bit back, tucking your tailbone, relaxing your shoulders away from your ears. And if you're comfortable, setting your hands overhead, arms straight up, and remembering your breath. And using some dynamic movement in there if you would like. Feeling a nice stretch in your right hip. Hands on your hips if that feels good to you. And your next exhale, rotating your right heel down, opening up to the side of the room. Now your feet are now perpendicular to each other. Good. Spine is long and strong. Arms are parallel to the floor. Shifting your gaze to your left fingertips. And on your exhales, sinking into your front knee, making sure it stays stacked over your ankle. Good. May I give you a minute to adjust?
Sure.
So just rotating your hip a little bit out this way. Excellent. Yeah. Relaxing your shoulders. Sinking on your next exhale, sinking a little bit deeper into that front knee. We'll move now into our extended side angle. So bringing your left elbow onto your left knee. Right hand goes overhead, gaze follows. Feeling a nice stretch in your right side body. Very good. May I adjust? A little bit here, nice and long and strong. Good. Good. Remembering your breath here. And on your next inhale, coming back up to a neutral spine. And we're going to stay, keep your left foot as it is, straightening your left leg slightly. Arms come up, extending your left fingertips as far forward as possible, then cartwheeling them down to meet your ankle or your calf. Right hand comes up for our triangle pose. Remembering your breath here. And on your inhale, coming back up to neutral spine. And coming up to the top of the mat, right foot meets left. Excellent job. So we'll even it out and do the other side. So you can take a nice breath here if you'd like and shake it out. Excellent. When you're ready, now sending your left foot back for our warrior one. So your right or your left heel stays up. Hips are square to the front of the room. Tailbone is tucked and hands come overhead. Sinking into your right knee. Shoulders relaxed. Chin is tucked ever so slightly. And when you're ready, exhale, come into our warrior two. The left heel rotates down. Hands are now perpendicular to the floor. Inhaling to rise up. Exhaling to sink deeper into that front knee. Finding a drishti here if you can, a focal point. Turn your palms up to the sky. Good, you can find some dynamic movement here if you'd like. And when you're ready, we'll move into our extended side angle. Right elbow comes to right knee. Left hand comes overhead, gaze follows. Remembering your breath. Rooting to rise up. Tucking your tailbone. When you're ready, exhaling up to a neutral spine as we move into our triangle pose. So straightening your right knee with micro bend. Hands come up parallel to the floor. Extending your right fingertips as far forward as you can. Then cartwheeling them down to your ankle or your calf. Left hand is up in the sky, gaze follows. Taking a breath here. Finding strength and stability in this difficult pose. And on your next exhale, cartwheeling yourself back up to a neutral spine. Coming to the front of the mat, left foot meets right. How's that?
Good.
Good. Okay, shake it out a bit. Yeah, we can do a little willow tree, like whatever feels good. Awesome. Great job.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so now we're going to try ourselves a crow pose.
Okay.
Okay. So there's no pressure here to move any further than a squat. So first we'll start here. Your feet point out slightly. And now sinking into a deep squat. Elbows can come between your knees. Now your option is certainly to stay in this pose. This is an excellent hip opener, nice stretch for your lower back and hips. Your option here is to shift, put your hands on the mat, shifting your weight forward, lifting your knees up onto your elbows or into your shoulders, whatever works for you. Coming up on your tippy toes, yeah. And slowly lifting one foot and maybe the other. Excellent. How does that feel? Shaking your hands out?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Almost got it.
Yeah, and you can come back to your squat if you want to take a little moment. Try again if you would like. Coming up high. Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, that's all right. No, that's great.
All right.
So we'll come back onto our mat here as we move into our mat poses.
All right.
So we made it through the standing poses. Good job. Coming onto our sit bones, maybe shaking your legs out a little bit, shaking your wrists out. And we'll move into our staff pose. So pressing Pressing down with your hands, which are at your sides beside your hips. Legs are long and strong, toes pointed towards your nose. Spine is long, shoulders are relaxed. Tucking your chin slightly. Remembering your breath. Pushing down with your hands to lengthen your spine. And taking some breaths in this pose. And you're ready, coming to a neutral seated position. And we'll move into our half dragonfly. Sending your left leg to the front, and tilting it out to the sides ever so slightly. Your right heel comes into you, right knee is on the mat. Toes are pointed towards your nose. And on your exhale, slowly walking your feet forward, or your fingertips forward. Into your half dragonfly. Trying to keep your heart open and forward as much as you can in this pose. Keeping your left leg active, strong. And your next inhale, coming back up to neutral. We'll go ahead and switch legs. Right leg comes out, left heel comes towards you, left knee is on the mat, and slowly walking your fingers forward. Remembering your breath. Stretch in your right hamstring. And on your next inhale, coming back to neutral. And bringing your feet together for a butterfly pose. Yeah, hands on your feet, maybe flapping your knees from side to side. And then bring your feet, fingers to the front of the room, heart is open. Means keeping your gaze to the front of the room. We'll come back up to neutral. We'll come onto our mat. We'll stay on our back here. And we'll move into our reclined pigeon. So bringing one knee up and bringing your ankle over your knee. Hands interlace behind your left knee. Gently pulling your knee towards you. Exhaling to release. And switching legs. Interlacing your fingers behind your right knee. And gently pulling your knee towards your chest. Exhaling to release. We'll move into our wind relieving pose. So knees to chest. Pull your knees into your chest as much as you'd like to, maybe rocking from side to side, rotating your knees and hips. And on your next exhale, releasing to the mat, hands and feet extend up, hands overhead. We'll move into our banana pose. So feet and arms are nice and long and straight. Moving on your hands and your feet only to the left. Let's start with the left. And you can, hold your right foot over your left foot if that feels comfortable to you, giving this stretch in your side body. And on your next inhale, we can switch sides. Feeling a nice stretch on your left side body. And coming to a neutral spine. And we'll move into our supine twist. Straighten your left leg. Right knee comes over the top of your left hip. Yeah, keeping your shoulders on the mat. Extending your right arm out to the side. Gaze can follow your right hand for an extra bit of twist in your spine. And that stretch in your right side body. Coming to a neutral spine. So I'll have you right knee left knee comes over the right hip. Shoulders stay on the mat. Yep, coming to neutral. And I'll have you turn over onto your belly for our next poses. Perfect. Just taking a breath here if you'd like. As we transition next into our Sphinx pose. So forearms are on the mat. Elbows are bent. Forehead is on the mat if you'd like, or you can place a block under your forehead if that feels comfortable for you, or a blanket. Zip tying your legs together, nice and strong in your inner thighs, turning your inner thighs towards each other. Now, your inhale, you're going to lift, pushing in on your forearms, lifting your shoulders and your head. Exhaling to release. Inhaling to zip tie those thighs together, and head comes up. Taking a break if you'd like. Going as far up as feels comfortable to you. making sure you're nice and strong in your thighs. May I adjust your thighs?
Sure.
Yeah, so keeping your legs together, nice and tight, and engaging your thigh muscles when you're on your incline. Nice and strong. Yeah. Yeah. Exhale to release. And then you inhale, we can relax out of this pose. Yeah, you can take a break, do child's pose if that feels good to you. Move around a bit. Yeah, take your time.
All right.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to try a locust, so staying on your belly. Hands come to your sides. Taking a breath here. And on your inhale, you're going to lift everything up except your hips. Yeah, okay. So hands, feet, legs, head, shoulders. Exhale to release. Inhale up. Remembering your breath. Awesome. Not taking a break here. We're almost there. We'll do 2 more breaths here. And then you can take a little breather, relax, melt into the mat for a minute. And when you're ready, you can flip onto your back. And we'll move into our bridge pose. So heels come up to your hips until you can almost touch them with your fingertips. Rolling your shoulders under you, under your back. Interlacing your fingers and lifting up your hips. On your inhale and exhaling to release down. Inhaling back up. Do a couple of breaths here. And we'll do one more breath, tucking those shoulders right under your back. And shifting from side to side to get them as under you as you can. Interlacing your fingers and pointing your fingers towards your heels this time. Exhaling to release. Taking a breath here. Shifting your knees from side to side, like windshield wipers. Releasing your back. Coming into knees to chest, wind relieving pose for more of a release in your back. You're rocking from side to side. You can even circle your knees, release them and circle your knees a little bit. That feels good. And on your next exhale, relaxing onto the mat. Stretching your feet long and your hands overhead. Stretching as far, your fingers as far away from your toes as you can. And inhale and then exhaling to release your hands at your side as we come into our final Shavasana. We did it. So relaxing onto your back, taking a deep breath here, melting into your mat. Feet and hands are equal distance from the center line of your body. Maybe creating some space between your heels, shifting from side to side. Eyes can be closed, tucking your chin slightly. Head and neck are long for that nice long spine as you relax into your Shavasana pose. Remembering your intention for your practice today. Feeling grateful for taking the time for yourself and for your yoga practice today. And breathe. Coming back into your breath. Coming back into your awareness. Moving your toes, your fingers. Taking your time to wake up your body. Back into your day. Moving your knees around. Windshield wiper your knees if that feels good. I'm going to take the time to thank you for making the time for yourself today.
Thank you. And if you want it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Take all the time you need. Letting your practice sink in. And rotating, I was going to say, onto your right side body, taking a moment here. I want to make this transition back to the day as slow as possible. Moving around, waking yourself up. Taking some deep breaths. Remembering that shift of energy and breath and how different that feels now than it did at the beginning of the class. What parts of your body feel different? When you're ready, coming back up to seated position. Thank you for taking the time. You did you did a great job.
Thank you, that was great.
And thank you for taking the time, and it was an honor to instruct you today.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Thanks.